Hello and welcome to another part of the Porsche 924 project. Today, well, really it started the other day when I wanted to adapt this single barrel SU carburetor onto this throttle body here for the intake manifold. Throttle body's over there disconnected. So I tried mounting that up and realized that it wasn't going to work. It was too tall. There wasn't enough space to do it. So I've decided to try hooking the Jetronic fuel injection back up. And here's our fuel injection thing. This part alone here is about $1,200. So I have to make sure not to break any of this because the replacement for that's about $1,200. But basically, yeah, so everything functions as it should, theoretically. And I have to figure out how all these lines hook up because there are so many lines. There are some lines in the back of the car as well that we got to hook up. So, yeah, we got to do a lot of stuff here to get this functioning. The car already runs. I had it running. It was running on like 2 cylinders, but it was running. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook all of this, I'm going to bolt this in, hook all these lines up, and I'll either cut back to you in a couple hours or a couple days because I have to work with this schematic here trying to do this, which, the schematic's not too great on telling me where this wire goes, and then this one, and this one, because they all seem to go to the same place. So let's try to figure this out. Okay, so after a couple hours, we have our fuel injection system hooked up, going from this schematic here, and a screenshot from a video the previous owner took of the car. So now that we have this set up, this is not a compression washer. I have to change this. I have to change this whole line anyway, since it's broken. It's going to be a good $40. But we should be able to get this to work now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under the car, because underneath, there's a fuel pump somewhere. Going to all these lines, there's a fuel pump underneath. It's not in the tank. So I'm going to take it off, clean it, make sure it works, and then hook it to a gas can somewhere. Maybe like on the ground, how it get a pipe going to a gas can. And we can see if the Jetronic system works. Okay, so here we have the pump that's out of the car. The pump sat underneath next to the passenger side rear wheel. And here's what we got. Oh, by the way, this is the stuff that came out of the tank. Except it was way worse. That's the stuff that came out of the pump. The stuff that came out of the tank is, it's not even a liquid anymore. But we have the pump taken apart because it was locked up. We are going to slowly unlock it until it works properly again. And I'll get back to you when that's done. Okay, so the pump, it does turn, but it's pretty hard to turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all this varnish off. And I've taken the hose clamp, which holds the mount off. So I'm going to spray a bunch of carb cleaner in there, try to drain it out a bit. And I'm going to throw it in the lathe and hold it by hand as it spins that bit, the motor itself. So let's do that. Okay, so after a good 2 minutes of running in the lathe, let's see if it'll work. So, and this is all varnish too, and some cleaner, so I hope you don't catch fire. Oh, look at that! So, we're working. Okay, that's good. Let me just clean this up properly and then reassemble it. Okay, so I just had it back together, and I had the battery attached and everything. Completely back together, by the way. And I tried running some fuel through it. Did not pump through. You could hear it was doing something, and I opened this up, completely filled with varnish again. And that was weird because I was running fresh gas, so the pump must still have varnish stuck in it somewhere. So I am running some of this Shop Pro Carb Cleaner. By the way, this was full when I started. We're at about 1/3 of a can now. Anyway, we're going to let this sit in here for a couple hours, maybe overnight, because, you know, it is getting dark, and I think I can throw the hood on this car and let it sit overnight, make sure I put all these parts away, make sure I don't lose any of them. So maybe I'll check back with you in the morning, probably. Okay, so I've had this fuel pump soaking in gasoline. It wasn't normally sitting like that. It was sitting like that because I've been testing this. I've had it soaking in gasoline for 2 days, and it's completely gummed up inside. There's no saving that. So I thought about getting the $150 pump, but there's a cheap Porsche 911 pump for about $30, a little bit more than $30, and it's got the same kind of fuel injection system, so I think I'm gonna buy that and put it in the car. Okay, so our replacement fuel pump came, and well, it's wrong, because this is a 911 pump, and it said it would fit Porsche 924, but let me take this cover off really quick. Okay, now with this cover off on the banjo fitting, we can see that it's a different size, completely different. So that also means that the cap, where's the cap? Right here, won't fit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and I'm going to get a banjo. I'm going to see if I can find a banjo fitting with a hose barb on the end and a replacement cap for a larger one from the hardware store. So we're going to hop in the good old trusty MG and see what we can do. Okay, so I just got back from 2 auto parts stores and a hardware store. None of them have banjo fittings. So what am I going to do? Probably go to more auto parts stores and hardware stores to figure out where I can get a banjo fitting. Okay, so, oh, there we go. I could not find a banjo fitting anywhere. So I'm going for the next best thing. This is hollow through here. You can go all the way down to these. Usually this has a cap nut. So what I'm going to do is just take a piece of fuel line and put it on here. This is it's a smaller piece of fuel line. Squeeze it on there with 2 hose clamps. Cut the other banjo fitting off of the line into the car because it's also the wrong size. And put this on that line. Couple hose clamps. See what we can actually not put this on that line, making a machine an adapter to put it on. And see what we can do. Now that is not going anywhere. Let's see if it works. Okay, so there's our fuel pump. It's the shoddiest looking setup I've ever done to an electric fuel pump, but it's just temporary. Because look in here. Oh, hold on, let me turn the flash on. So I believe this is the return line filled with varnish. So I have to cut away at this for however long. I'm going to start like here. See how far I have to go up. Maybe I have to replace the entire return line because it's filled with varnish. This one wasn't filled with varnish. This one had gasoline in it. This one seems to be filled with varnish. Okay, I'm not completely sure that's the return line. I think it is. But if we go up here, how is that? Okay, that's bolted to a metal line. So let's take this entire line off and see what we got up near the metal line. Because I cut out quite a bit. Look at that solid varnish. Okay, so up there is the line. You can see it's got a good amount of varnish in it, actually. But I think I might be able to force that out with gasoline once I get the fluid running through. But what I'm going to do for fun while I'm down here is drop this piece of the tank. I'm going to drop this. See what comes out. I just pulled this off. So, oh, look at how great that gasoline is. Oh, yeah, that's some fresh gas for you. I don't know what I'm going to do about this, to be honest. Oh, my gosh. Okay. I was able to break through it. It's like when you opened old canned fruit, and the stuff turns black after a while. It looks just like this. Okay, so I've made a massive mess here. And, wow, look how bad that is. Yeah, we'll have a separate video on the tank, but we're going to try to hook up this fuel pump to a can. See if we can get gas to come out of the return line. I'll hook power to it, to the pump. See if we can get gas flowing through the system. Because I know the input was not clogged with gas. With varnish, should I say. The input wasn't clogged. The pump actually helped that, because when I took the pump off, believe it or not, cleanish gas actually poured onto me. So I'm just going to try to put the pump to power, see if we can get gas running through the system. Well, I wanted to see if I could pressurize the system, but I'm in need of a new line. So I think we'll cut this video off here and catch us in the next part of the video, or in the next part when we'll have this properly together and hopefully the car running. Thanks for watching.